I'm always sitting there going, oh, how long is it going to be before Dad breaks the band up? You know what I mean? So like, I know that
you know what happens.
you know the story, right? And I know, knowing him, I can't imagine it wasn't done in a very funny, sarcastic way, or offhanded, sort of sardonic kind of way. So I like to see that sort of car crash happen, and then knowing what happens at the end, it's kind of cheating. But as I was saying to them, we just did All Things Must Pass 50th, so watching this is like a prequel to what we just did. So, you'll see in this what led him to then go and make All Things Must Pass by himself. Well, there's also the whole, when they turn up to record at Apple Studios, nothing works. And Magic Alex is just taking the piss. And then basically, my dad in a day sources, they're using his 8-track, they're using his equipment. And it's like, I feel like when he comes back, it's like, come on guys, all right, here's my machine, and he kind of gets everything in it. I was quite a proud moment when I saw that. They were like, oh, because he's on the phone with George Martin saying, I don't think the studio's going to work. It sounds not good. And they fix it like that, and it's him and George Martin and John, and they kind of all rally. And then suddenly you've got the album, you know what I mean?
It's so full of love.
Yeah. And you see that they love each other a lot, and it's Peter. Yeah, I didn't have any notes for Peter. I don't feel like they ate anything. I feel like my dad
toast.
There's just a lot of toast eating. As my dad sat with a sad orange juice and a sad plate of toast, and I said to Stella McCartney a while back, I said, we were at a fancy dress party, I was trying to fit into one of his suits. I said, I have no idea. And she just goes, it's called malnutrition, darling.
Yeah. No green juice.
No green juice, just toast.
Well, my job is music supervisor and to mix the music. So my role in this has kind of been, I suppose, a guidance in a way with Peter. I've a sort of a backstory to Beatles, having worked on before, and he obviously hadn't. And even though he has his own view on things, which is brilliant, I guess my guys go, this is, concentrate this, or these are great takes, or whatever it is. Yeah, I think, funny enough, this film comes at an interesting time in society, because we're now used to watching the Kardashians and Love Island and all these kind of things, and we're used to having a fly on the wall style thing, and this is what this is. This is a snapshot of the Beatles working, and no one will ever see this again. And it's, even for me, and having worked on some Beatles material, it's strange even for me to see the way they work together, the way they react, and you kind of learn so much from them. No, I mean, it's obviously not the end of the band, because they went and made Abbey Road straight afterwards. And it's funny, Let It Be sort of sounds more like a breakup album than Abbey Road. The idea that Abbey Road being a breakup album doesn't really sit well with us, but that's essentially what it was. I think everyone looks at this cataclysmic event that broke up the Beatles, the meteorite that killed the dinosaurs, all this sort of stuff, and it just simply isn't there. It's just, and you can see them in the documentary, you can see that they are not becoming tired of each other, but just going, we've done this for a long time. And then they went to go, let's make one final album, which was Abbey Road, and Let It Be was scrapped. But what this is a snapshot of that period of time, and it's really, really fascinating. There's a lot of love, and the other thing I discovered is how much they rely on each other. There's the four of them, and they won't. The reason why they play on the rooftop is that's the only thing they could decide on, not because one person could say, "This is what we're doing," because they all had to agree. And even that, the day before, George is there going, I'm not sure if we even want to go up there, But I think that there's huge friendship, and I think that's what's misinterpreted, is that you can't function. You can't sing two of us as a band, or John and Paul can't sing two of us if they hate each other. They didn't. I think because the film, the previous film, and the record came about at this time where they were getting divorced. They go through this court case. I think people were scared of what was on the tapes, in the trenches, and pulling them out. I mean, for Paul and Ringo, and even for me watching my dad, it's kind of beautiful in a way, seeing that actually they're just normal people doing extraordinary things. Yeah, I think it has to be the Rooftop concert, even though it's really well known, because they're so good. That and Seeing My Old Man. I mean, you know, I showed my daughter, but is that you? I was like, no, that's your grandfather. And I suddenly realised, wait a second. No, it's my dad was working on this project on and off when I was being conceived, so that's an interesting thing for me. I was born in October, it was done in January, so I think about that as well a lot. So there you are. When does he have a smile on his face?
They're just ever present, I think, in, well, I guess human culture, but certainly British culture. You know, I think if you were born early 70s, they were in the ether still, and it's just the music. I mean, the music is just extremely good. It's extremely good music. Do you know what I mean? Like, without all the hyperbole, it's just, they're really good. Like, if they came out last week, you'd go, oh, they're good. They're really good. And they're funnier than most people. They're better writers than anybody. You know, they weren't necessarily, like, as a group of musicians, they weren't the best group of technical musicians ever. You know, there were people who could have outplayed them at Woodstock. No one could outcreate them at all. I don't think anyone has come close, actually. Yeah. Yes, so no, it's mad. I mean, I'm not saying they're not great musicians, of course they are. But you know what I mean, is it's not like they weren't all virtuosic. No, they weren't. But Christ almighty, I mean, there's no one comes close, I think, as output in 7 years of recording. Nobody has made that sort of leaps and bounds, you know. And we're still marvelling at it now. You know, as we know, top bands taking 6 years to make an album. It's like, if they'd waited that long, they would have gone from Love Me Do to the White Album. It's like, that's the time it took. That's the time it takes someone now to make an album. It's, you know, yeah, I will love them forever. Yeah. Oh man, I'm extremely excited, as I'm sure you are, and I'm sure everybody. You know, I mean, I think everyone's just like a little kid today. I can't believe my luck to be invited to this. I'm so happy about it. Yeah, I'm really excited. I've made a few people very jealous. Yeah. They weren't. Elvis was quite funny. Elvis was funny, but there weren't many people who allowed themselves to be themselves before then, you know. And a lot of people since then haven't either, because they're too busy doing the showbiz dance and not letting their natural spirit shine through. And I think that's what captivated the world. It was not only the music, but when they saw them interviewed, it's like these four people they've got chemistry, they're funny. There's no particular one leader. No one's just being boring and plastic for showbiz reasons. They were all just being silly, you know, a lot of the time in interviews, and I love that about them. You know?
This is one of my favourite Beatles albums. I don't like Let It Be. Can't listen to it. Don't know why. I just can't listen to it. But so this is one of my favourite of their records. But I guess after Flower Power and that, and before rock took over, it's an interesting period, like 60, 68, 69. And this period is fascinating because as we know, they were about to break up. And, you know, the concert on the roof is extremely famous, and all the issues around the album are well documented. So it'd be nice to see it many times. I'm just excited about the things I haven't seen. I mean, I've got, and I've had 4 years, an extensive collection of Beatles bootlegs, as you probably well know, right? So I've seen quite a lot, but there's just the things, the mundane stuff. I'm looking, what were they wearing and what are they playing, and just the way they are, you know, because we've never seen them like that. We've only seen them on TV, where they're being the Beatles. This is the kind of fly on the wall stuff, so this is going to be fantastic. Well, now it'd be contrived. Now all the songs would have been written before you got there, and you'd be pretending you wrote them. But they had a contract to fulfil, didn't they, for a film? I'd say Let It Be. Let It Be always kind of gets me there. Do you know what I mean? But I love this album as a thing, as a whole. I love to listen to it all in one go.